Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Glad you could make it. And for all you newcomers, please remember to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date with some really cool things going on the Dual Fire 1200. And with newcomers in mind, well, I'm ready to give you a tour of this complete system, starting with the control panel, and then we're going to cover the direct, indirect sides, and the smoke box package that I got on top of mine. I'll go into operations and I'll cover some of the things that I've learned with respect to this system. But as far as specifications go, I'm going to leave that to Recteq and point you back to their website. Now when it comes to operating the Dual Fire, I like to tell people it's as easy as operating a crock pot. One button turn on, and then you've got simple controls for adjusting the temperature. Now while they don't advertise this directly, when you turn this all the way down to low, you get their extreme smoke mode activated with respect to the smart grill technology they have. Now when turning it to the max setting, you're going to get 700 degrees and maybe a little bit more. And just note on the direct side, you can turn this in 25 degree increments up to 500 degrees. And then from there, it's going to click into full mode all the way up to that 700 degrees. I find 500 degrees to be great for searing, but again, you can go even higher to 700 degrees and sear there too. Or crank out a pretty good pizza at that temperature. Now on the indirect side, you shift down to 5 degree increments of control from 180 all the way up to that full of 700. Pretty convenient. Oh yeah, and the system comes with 4 probes and has 4 probe ports, as well as dual band Wi-Fi. Very convenient. And it's worth noting that both sides give you everything from smoking all the way to grilling and searing. And when it comes to managing your grill remote, you can select between both grills and you can monitor each of the 4 probes when they're plugged in. You can set alarms on those probes. You can name them based on the protein or whatever you're cooking at the time. And it just makes things a little bit more convenient and easy to recognize when you're going through and looking at it again remotely. Now, one of the things I really like about the app is the ability to chart each of the probes and the grill temperature. Now, it keeps this in the past 30 days present. You need to save it if you want to effectively go back and look at a cook that happened further back in the past. The other thing I like is the ability to look at specific data points or zoom in to specific areas or sections of the cook. This is perfect for overnight cooks like doing a brisket or pork butt when you want to monitor the stall points and other things. But perhaps one of the most standout features is, yes, you can manage your auger speed from the app or the control panel. And yes, you can shift your temperature calibration, if you will, up and down from the app or the control panel as well. These are both percentage based. Okay. Now turning off the system is just as easy. You hit the power button, and basically what that does is it turns the fan on to effectively get the embers that are in there burnt off as quickly as it can. Now that goes on for about 300 seconds. Now right after that, it switches into a mode where the auger is run to push any remaining pellets that might be emberish, if you will, into the fire pot. That's a safety thing. And I like the fact that they take care of that for you. So as you look at the display here, you'll see the fan mode and the auger mode kicking in. In this instance, I turned off the left first, and then waited a while, and then turned off the right, just to give you that feel or show you that example. So basically, Recteq is looking after you by giving you simplicity and functionality wrapped with safety as well. Now let's talk about some of the other nice touches with the controller assembly itself. One of the things that I like is at the end of the controller assembly, you got space to hang off, different tools, spatulas, tongs, etc. Works out great, but this is the winner for me. They've got an outlet on the back of this. Now what that means is you can plug in chargers for your phone, or in my case, a saute station that I bring out every now and then to saute up or crisp up, if you will, pork for carnitas or anything else. In fact, I've even used this outlet for putting a crock pot in place, blender, really anything. I've even slaved another grill off of this, so it works out fantastic. Okay, so let's take a look at what you can do on the direct side. Well, to begin with, on the direct side, the left side, you've got a fair amount of cooking space here. Specifically, you have 19 1/4 inch depth, 14 1/2 inch width. But direct cooking is the king of the show here. Flame kiss searing, baking, roasting. I mean, you can do a number of things with it, including smoking. Yeah, you can smoke on this too because it does get low as well. Now this is all managed by the controller, which has an RTD temperature sensor on the back center. Now that measures the average temperature within the entire cavity. Now it's important to understand that that is different than surface temperature. In the video on searing, we showed that surface temperatures are much hotter. In other words, you can get upwards of 1,000 degrees or over 1,000 degrees on that surface temperature, meaning high cook temps are not a problem at all. Now, in summary on the direct side, let me just mention a couple of things real quick. We did a video where we compared ribs made on the direct, indirect, and the smoker side. The direct came out tied in number one. It smokes really well in that regard. Now, another thing that it does extremely well is bake. I've done apple torts on this, peach cobbler. All of them have come out exceptionally well. The peach cobbler was really nice because it got a crispy top on it and everything else too. But it comes out so well that I have actually started to preference baking on the direct side over my brand new GE convection oven in the house. And that's a decent oven. Believe me when I tell you, it's a really good oven. But what I've found is this just tends to do it a little bit better. I can't tell you why. I don't know what it is that makes it work better. Maybe it's the direct heat coming up from the bottom that just does something a little different, or how things curve over the top. I just know it works very well. Anyhow, definitely one of the things that adds to the utility of this system. And speaking of utility, the other habit I've gotten into, smoking on the indirect, immediately searing on the direct. Yeah, the searing quality on this just comes out exceptionally well. Okay, let's take a look at the main chamber here, the indirect side, the right side. We covered a lot of good stuff on the left side for direct heat, but with respect to indirect heat, we've got a lot of space to work with. Now, Recteq says 4 racks of ribs, but I think you could actually get more. Now, this chamber covers the full range from smoking, roasting, braising, baking, grilling, and searing. Your best smoke is on that upper rack, and you can roast and braise fairly well on either racks. Baking and grilling and searing, obviously the lower rack tends to work best there. Now, the upper rack will easily hold a large brisket. This one is kind of what I would say a medium-sized brisket, but I've had larger on there and it works out fine. I've had 2 racks of dino ribs up there, pork butts, so forth. So you can really pack the meat on here. And what I'll share with you is, no matter what rack or level you have it on, it just does excellent smoke all the way around. And of course, when it comes to braising, you've got very controlled temperatures. This thing just really rides the line, okay? So your braising goes off very well. Baking, excellent also. Pineapple upside down cake came out wonderful that I did. Really, all in all, it's great. And when it comes to searing, you got a ton of searing capacity on that lower rack. Again, just a lot of utility here. Now, with any grill, you're going to have some warm spots and some cold spots. The warm spots on this one are over here on the right-hand side near the exhaust. And it's not really enough to make any kind of impact, but it is just a small thing that I've noticed along the way. Now, speaking of temperature management, just like the direct side, there's an RTD temperature sensor located in the middle of the grill, about right there on the back. Now again, that's calculating, if you will, the air temperature within the grill, not the surface temperature. Again, a lot of flexibility and utility. Now all that is powered by a pretty large hopper. Yeah, when you take a look at the hopper, for the indirect side, you've got over 40 pounds for an easy overnight cook on low. I mean, it really doesn't go through hardly much at all. For the direct side, you've got a little over 30 pounds. I've been able to get quite a bit more, but a little over 30 pounds is what they advertise. Now, one Recteq option that's seriously worth considering is the smoke box. This is a way to build up, concentrated smoke flavor. Unless you're cold smoking, the smoke box is going to run a little bit cooler than what you have in the Indirect. It'll be 50 degrees cooler on the top rack, 60 on the mid rack, and 70 degrees on the lower rack. Now the reason I say concentrated smoke is because you got the larger volume of the Indirect, all that smoke flowing through the smaller volume smoke box. And what this means is you get concentrated smoke flavor on anything you put in there, okay? Now you can cold smoke in there too, and that works out fine just as well. So if you consider the overall range of smoking, the Indirect side gives you that power smoking between 180 degrees Fahrenheit up to 275, easily, okay? The smoke box adds cold, warm, and hot smoking to cover a broader other range of temperatures for different things that you may want to smoke. And I can highly recommend cold smoking salmon during a cold snap. Awesome. Now the other thing I can highly recommend is smoking and roasting. Using that smoke box for concentrated smoke and then moving it over to the Indirect for a full roast. So overall, a highly recommended option to your Dual Fire. Now speaking of highly recommended options, definitely can highly recommend getting a front shelf in place. The one from Recteq is very sturdy, and this shelf bolts right into some existing screws that are already there, so very easy to install as well. Third-party shelves are available as options too. Now that being said, another thing I changed up was the wheels. In my instance, I have a lot of things that I need to go up and down on, so I went from the 3-inch casters that were there to a set of 5-inch casters. Now you can easily put 6-inch or whatever size you want on there, because the caster pattern that they use is a standard pattern. So again, making it very easy to add your own touch to your system. And yet another easy recommendation is a sear kit. Now these are grill grades which Recteq sold at the time that I purchased these, and these are pretty easy to install. You have rails up or rails down. You position them next to the exhaust, and you can create hot spots to get very concentrated searing power in place. Works phenomenally well. Flip these upside down to where they're rails down. Now you have a griddle for doing griddle searing and other things, making bacon and such on there. So very easy. Now a do-it-yourself option that I put in place was a smoke box fan. Basically this is a fan that I got off Amazon, put it into place, and what it does is it puts convection into that smoke box so that it evens out those temperatures up and down between the top rack, middle rack, and lower rack. And you just can't go wrong with better temperature management. Now I have been looking at that pizza oven. It looks sweet, but Mama said no. So we're using the pizza pans, and that's working out for now. But one thing I was able to get is that resting box, and I have to tell you, that packs in a lot of food. Brisket, pork butt, 2 things of ribs, sausages, all in one trip. It was great. And according to my brother, kept it warm a long time. Now those are just some of my favorite accessories. There's others. So to sum up my take, effectively the Dual Fire 1200 is highly versatile. 200 to 700 on the direct side, 180 to 700 on the indirect side. And you can sear, grill, bake, everything effectively, flame kiss on that direct side. In the smoke box, you got low, warm, hot smoke capabilities, and that takes you from ambient up to 180. But what I tend to do is lightly smoke on the indirect and then sear on the direct afterwards, kind of a reverse sear. Now what I've been doing is smoking in the smoke box and then just bringing it to temperature in the indirect side. Tons of flexibility there. And obviously I can plug anything I want in to the back of the controller. So in short, I'm using that smoke box quite a bit. It's a great complement to everything I've got going. And obviously my newest addition is the sear kit. And I gotta say, I'm starting to use it quite a bit too. Ooh, what is that? That music. Oh yeah, it's Zen time. So to wrap up this review, check out the number of people reviewing Recteq Dual Fire on the Recteq website. Not bad. And yeah, do me a favor, like and subscribe and give me some comments. Truly appreciate it.